And I'm Jasmine Turner. We start tonight with the latest on Sigma Pi fraternity's hazing suspension. According to Dean Janelyn Patterson, Sigma Pi's president was scheduled to meet with her today to appeal the 3-year suspension that came after a university investigation of the fraternity.
Our Meredith Stutz has been following the story and is here with more. Meredith?
Thanks, Jasmine and Gary. Associate Vice President of Student Life, Janelyn Patterson, says the final decision on whether Sigma Pi will stay on campus will be made by the end of the week. Let's recap on what we know on the events leading up to today's meeting. Dean of Students Smith Jackson says starting in mid-October, the university began an investigation on Sigma Pi and suspended all activities for the chapter. Dean Jackson says ELN's honor board met on October 28th, and then Associate Dean of Students Jodine Schmiederer and Dean Patterson suspended the fraternity. The chapter requested an appeal of that decision, which brings us to today. From here, Dean Jackson says that in addition to any ELN sanctions, Sigma Pi International will make a decision on whether the chapter will lose its charter. If this happens, the fraternity will no longer be recognized on ELN's campus. We reached out to more than 350 men who are a part of the ELN Sigma Pi Epsilon Theta chapter Facebook page. We also knocked on the front door of the fraternity's on-campus house to give the fraternity brothers a chance to tell their side of the story. All either had no comment or directed us to Dean Jackson. We did receive some comments on our web article, and we asked anyone from Sigma Pi who would like to comment on camera to contact us directly at elonlocalnews@gmail.com. In my interview, Jackson said that the university is not restricting the fraternity from talking. I spoke to Dean Jackson about the hazing culture, which extends beyond the Greek courts.
Often people don't even think it's hazing. They say it's just tradition.
ELN defines hazing as, quote, any action or situation created either directly or through innuendo that jeopardizes the student's psychological, emotional, or physical well-being, regardless of the person's willingness to participate. Dr. Jackson says the university looks into roughly 3 to 5 hazing reports per year that are usually anonymous. Dean Jackson himself was hazed in college and says the hazing culture now is much different.
In retrospect, I wish that I would have had the fortitude to say, I'm not going along with that. It was the norm back then. And so I think, if anything, it's made me think, you don't need it. If it's not building people up, you don't need it.
Jackson says that while joining organizations are an important part of college, there needs to be a different way to bond.
You can provide challenge. You can provide opportunities. But I think it's just kind of lazy, doing whatever's happened before. I think we can be a lot more creative and a lot more constructive.
If you or someone you know has been affected by hazing, you can call ELN's anonymous hotline 336-278-HAZE or Campus Police and Safety. Gary and Jasmine, back to you.